Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to day two today of our masterclass series for how to leverage AI for professionals and project managers. So today is Tuesday, and yesterday I just want to give a really high overview of what we went over. Yesterday we went over some items. Actually, let me first go through. So today we're going to talk about the transformation of AI and GPT for project managers and professionals. Um, so the first thing, I talked about myself yesterday, so I won't do that today in the interest of time because this is supposed to be 30 minutes. But essentially, the high level is that I've been in technology for a very long time. I primarily worked in healthcare originally, and then I was a consultant, and I was consulting for big major hospitals around the country here in the USA. And as a consultant, I did have a chance actually to work with several different organizations from that perspective. So I bring both the IT side, the digital side, and then also in my own business, really was working with digital marketing solutions. So that's an area I also are very experienced in and are working or dabbling in right now. As we know, sometimes we work in more than one thing or area. So that's really a high level over about me and really what I bring to the table. So how did I get into this whole ChatGPT and AI? I really gained an interest, again, I think because of my tech background, but then also being client facing, I know both sides, the technology side and then also the client side where you speak nine technology. But mostly for ChatGPT, I've been very involved with it, especially since the big drop happened in November of last year, 2022. And that has helped me to give me deeper insights, really use it actually more, and then also, learn different ways that we can really leverage it to make our work more, either more productive, meaning that we get things done quicker rather than taking a little bit longer because, of course, when we're busy professionals, you have a lot going on. You're thinking capacity, not you, but our thinking capacity may not be sometimes at optimal. And so that's why you find that, we may be, I'm going to put this in slideshow. Okay. So you may find that you see the difference, in other words, where you use AI and then without AI and you can do things faster. Okay, so that's where I am right now. How did I get into this? Really to decide, because I have encountered either project managers, but not as much, however, other professionals who, being busy, I think is one problem, but also where, people think it's always techie, something technology. They have to know technology, which, it helps to know, like we can work with our phone and things like that, but we don't have to have the deeper understanding of the tech speak or tech talk. And I realized that I really will be a part of encouraging people to use AI a bit more. The good thing is that AI is being incorporated in many either business tools, business platforms, and things like that. So it will come. In some cases, it's a bit slower, only depending on the company. The bigger companies may take longer than the smaller companies. At the same time, some of even the small or medium companies at times may take longer because they may not have as much resources, say, as the bigger companies. Okay. Or they may actually adopt it, but it's not in depth. It's probably like using ChatGPT, for example, but they're not going to develop, say, either another tool or another plugin for AI. Okay. So those are the differences. Okay. We went over what ChatGPT is yesterday. I will be posting that video so anyone can really use it to go over that. I'm not going to go over it too much into detail, but what I want to do is just to, talk a little bit about, how it started, who started it rather, when it became really big, because it had been really going in the background, just not, as big. So is ChatGPT is a language. It's a processing language that is used to generate human-like text. It translates languages, summarizes text, and answers questions, and performs other language-related tasks. Certainly, it was trained by very, very big amounts of data, and so it can think as humans, but even faster than us humans. And so you find that because it aggregates all the data, it can find solutions rather than, say, for example, we go on, search for something on Google, you get all these results, and then you have to go through each one of them, and then you decide, okay, this is good or this is the best. And or where we'll be like, okay, I'll get some from here and some from there and then some from the other one. Okay. So what the ChatGPT does for us is that it brings everything together so that we don't have to do that. So it really gives very good answers. The only thing is some of them, may not be, say, like with a human touch as we are. And so depending on what it is, sometimes we may have to touch it up a little bit, but the data is mostly accurate. However, not always accurate. That's another thing too. Why? Because they're still teaching it some things. Okay, so that's what that is. It was created by a company called OpenAI organization, and OpenAI, really, they named it Open because they wanted to open it up to all of us, humanity, to help to accelerate that. Why? Again, because AI actually has been in use. I think we know Siri, we know things like Siri, we know things like some of our phones or some of our watches even, and also other gadgets that use, artificial intelligence, which is AI. Sorry, I didn't explain that. And it does tasks that, you normally wouldn't be able to do. Okay, so that's the reason. Google is a good example. Amazon is a good example. The big companies. Facebook, yes, maybe not so much, but they were trying to work on some bigger projects. But the ones that we use in our everyday life are mostly those ones that we know. Okay, so that's what that is about. And as of January 16th, they added several capabilities. I won't go into this one in detail, but what has happened is there's been an accelerated improvement of Open ChatGPT, and there are many things that have come. We'll visit some of those. What I've done is in my preparation, because we're going to touch on different things, a lot of what I'm going to show you or we may talk about is going to be me showing you actually in a different screen what I'm talking about, and also demoing within ChatGPT. So I don't have necessarily a long presentation with the slides. And that's the reason. So because I'm going to talk about it, explain it, and then really show you, I didn't want this to be too staged. I wanted to show you exactly how each of anyone that can really go and look for or use AI to get this information. So that's the reason. All right. So we talk about our agenda here today. This is our agenda, giving the high overview of ChatGPT. So the other thing of demystifying a brief overview is what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to go over the screens right now. So we'll just stop sharing here. and I'll go through that. Okay, so one of the things that here that we demystify, or that I really want to talk about, not necessarily demystifying. I know many of us have heard of ChatGPT, and for anyone that maybe hasn't had a chance to really touch it and use it, that is what I'm going to talk about, what some of the things are where it really can transform our work, where it can transform us and transform our work really, and how we deal with efficiency and things like that. Okay, so first things first, just going back a little bit, yesterday I talked about what some of the pain points are for professionals, for project managers. I didn't say, I forgot to add in this recording right now, is that I've also been a project manager for many years. So it's really more planning, strategic planning of work and work, managing teams and things like that. But certainly anyone actually can use that framework to do their work in order to be more productive. So it's not necessarily that really just project managers, but it applies to us. And so that's why I invited other people aside from project managers. But when I'm talking, know that I'm talking about the way we are working. So that's why I'm explaining that. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be a project manager. Okay. Hi, how are you? So anyway, again, going back to that is yesterday, I'm just going to go back a little bit about what we went through. Yesterday was the pain points. So within the people who actually work as project managers, managing different projects and stuff like that, you find that even other professionals, however, you find that you have so many things going on that you have to do. The thing with the project management, there's so many administrative tasks that one has to work on. There's so many what is it? There's so many other tasks that can be repetitive. It's not a bad thing that they're. Some of them it is, some it's not. You just have to do it. Like, for example, providing either our teams, sponsors, the people who are working on the project, so the owners of it, or our clients in this case. In fact, any professional can be working on something and you have to provide your client updates, is that we have to be giving them at least some type of status. That could be weekly, depending on the project. It could be daily, it could be monthly or quarterly, whatever it is, depending on the level or agreement of what that can be. So those are some of the things. And then also administrative tasks where you are in meetings and you take notes and then you have to go and summarize them and make them better readable. Those are the types of tasks really that take time, okay, that ChatGPT and other AI tools can help us, okay? So first things first, as far as writing and and summarizing, I've found some very, very good apps. For sure, there's some like, let's see, there's some apps like, let me see, am I sharing let me share my screen again. Okay, so this is what we're seeing. So I'm gonna just go to Jasper, the famous Jasper, jasper.ai. And I'm doing this as we're saying. I opened up some tools, but others are not opened up. So Jasper is another one. It's a very known one. There's Jasper and a few others that are very well known. For writing or writers, I think there's also Write AI. There's just so many, frankly speaking. So the reason I give you these examples is because there's some of these that, you know, can help us to make things quicker. The difference though with like ChatGPT, the good thing is that sometimes you can feed it. By the way, just so you know, I think there's very, very big use. So I've been having some problems with earlier when I was preparing to bring things up with ChatGPT. So you may see either something not coming up or a blank screen at times, but that's the message I got. And I want to show you here. Let me see. I'm not sure what you're seeing. Let me see, am I sharing my screen? Let's see here. So here, ChatGPT is at capacity. By the way, this is the free one, the free version, 3.5. And as you can see, it's saying it writes a poem. You know, they tried to make it look nice instead of a blank screen, but they're at capacity, so that's really the reason. However, I had really pre-prepared some things, so those are the things we're going to talk about. But what I wanted to show you here is the thing with ChatGPT that I've liked is they've created plugins. Plugin is a tool essentially that someone else, a third party, can develop, but then they plug it into the capabilities of ChatGPT to be able to use their data and also the capabilities collect things from ChatGPT. So that's the thing that makes it really nice. These are additions they put recently, recently being April, actually, when ChatGPT 4, this plus one was released. So what happens is that it has those third-party tools that plug into it, and this is called the library. So I enabled some of these. So even you, if either you go and open a plus account for ChatGPT, you're going to be able, if you enable any of these, install them for yourself, you're going to see them here. They'll show here what it is that the tools you're using. And also sometimes you have the ability to switch it off. Like you just uncheck it and then it won't show. In other words, what that means also, if you run anything here, if you enter a prompt here, what will happen is that it will use that app or that plugin if it applies. If it doesn't, then it won't. Okay. Another thing, so I was talking about how it optimizes yesterday. It helps us with those tedious and repetitive tasks and makes us more productive and things like that. Okay. The other thing I talked about is that when you come into ChatGPT and you write an instruction for it, that instruction now in the industry is being called a prompt. You're prompting it to do some kind of task, answer your questions, or do anything else. So those are called prompts. So when you hear me say that, that's what that means. Okay. What am I getting at right now? What I'm getting at is that I want to review some tools that there's so many, but just a few that are very good. You also don't have to only use ChatGPT. There are many tools for specific things, but I think why ChatGPT still kind of beats everything is that you can do a lot from here. Okay, they recently added on for people who are coders the ability for reading code, interpreting graphs and codes, analyzing data. That was actually before, creating graphs and things like that. But also it hasn't been enabled for everyone, so it's not yet still there. However, that's where these plugins come to play. So remember I said that, you can add anything. So one of the things, let me just show you the plugin store. So they have what they call the plugin store. It's exactly like, the Apple Store or the Android store. That's exactly how it works. It just lists the different apps that, people are using. So the most popular here, they give us the new ones. These are the new ones. Wow. Okay, I'm happy. Italy finally came because, government had banned ChatGPT. So I see Italy here. And Austria. Oh my God, there's so many. Yeah. Okay. So clearly you can see they are so many. The pages are 58. I mean, I think even there's a next one, 58, after 58. But that's the thing. Essentially, even if you want a chatbot or an app that will plug into ChatGPT, you can have that created, or you create it. That's why there's so many. It's going to work exactly like how, Chrome for Google. and it has all kinds of plugins, third-party tools that really plug into it and can work with it. That's the same idea. Okay. So what I really wanted to show you, the most popular here is there's so many that are reading PDFs or reading a script or reading any data that may be located somewhere. A good example is this one, link reader. What happens is that if you have any of these items, either a web page, a YouTube, a PDF document, a PowerPoint image, or anything like that, you can literally copy. Let's say it's on a Google Doc. Let's say it's on a web page somewhere. You can actually copy the link and enter it. Let me show you how that works. So I have this installed, as you can see. It's there, and it's this one. So if I have a link here, let me see here. I'm gonna just say, by the way, so I saw that we had someone from HR and also someone from who is a CPA, that's accounting. I'm going to use many of the examples from those two industries. Why? Because they signed up, but I may touch on something else. However, those are the two industries I'm going to concentrate on giving today. So one of the things that maybe that I wanted to talk about here is an example of, let's see if I still have that. Oh, I think I may have closed it. Do I have the event here? Okay. So, oh, it's here, yes. So, for example, we have 𝐬𝐻𝐿 tax, so this is one of the people, for example, who signed up. Hi, 𝐬𝐻𝐿. So I'm just using yours as an example here. And I'll say that give me a summary of what this website is about. So once I see it here of these three, that shows that. So going back here, sorry. I just have to, unfortunately, that's how Zoom is. I just have to check and make sure that I'm on the right screen, that you can see my screen. Okay. Just gonna take myself out of this because I don't want it to be distracting. So anyway, this is an example and it may use that. So let's see how it works. So it's taking a little bit longer. Hopefully it will come. So you see that it tells you which app it's using. So right now it's using that link reader app in order to go and analyze the website. But in this case, it's just any link you put. So the link could really be talking about, sorry, the link could have either images, could have a PowerPoint, could have anything else. And if you want to know what that is, or give you an a short description or just anything like that, it will tell you that. So this is a good example. Look at that. It even showed exactly how, your logo is and the short form of that. So this is a good example, 𝐬𝐻𝐿 Tax Solutions, okay? So that's how the plugins work. They're going to use, once we enter the prompt here or the instruction, is going to go and find out for whichever plugin we've enabled and see if that actually works for any of these. So it will show you what plugin it used here, and then you go from there. Obviously, here you see that it has on the back end what it did, how essentially it went and did whatever it did. If you want it in a in a programmer mode, but we don't. Okay, so request to link reader, response from link reader, as you can see that. So it interprets that. And oh, that's the other thing is that this is in Dutch because 𝐬𝐡𝐨𝐮 is from the Netherlands. And then it interpreted that for us and gave it to us in English. Okay. So those are the other things. One thing maybe, this is a good example. I hadn't tried is how to interpret from one language to the other. I know it does. And I think the first time it was still just a few languages. So that capability should be there. Okay. The biggest thing I wanted to show is that this is the big upside for ChatGPT, that it has these plugins. And so you can go in and, and use it to find anything. Then the next thing I wanted to show you is also an example of another very, very good, ChatGPT-like solution. And it's called ChatSonic. There are a few out there, okay, that provide a bit more capabilities than ChatGPT is capable of. So the one I wanted to show you is called ChatSonic. As you can see, who invented ChatSonic actually is this guy. And this is very recent. I'm in a Discord with him. I'm in a community, where they are. So anyway, as you see, right, Sonic introduced ChatSonic. So this guy actually started with an app called Sonic. It was supposed to also help with writing or content writing. And then in December, he created ChatSonic. That's when he did that. Actually, I got to know about this a little bit after that. I think it was early January. That's when I got to know about it. But it's a very, very, very powerful, he's doing great. It's a very powerful, what is it? A very powerful app also that you can use in place of ChatSonic. Sorry, in place of ChatGPT, sorry. The thing though, it only gives you a certain amount of free use. And then it's a subscription. So if you want that you could also do that. What I like, I wanted just to show you about this ChatSonic. So there it is. But here it is now, because I already had an account. I signed in. They do have different apps within it. They've created, this is the original, obviously, as you see that they updated it 5.0. And then they have also the brand voice. This one really helps with the different things that you can write. Then BotSonic, ChatSonic, PhotoSonic. I've played with these before, and it also gives you the capability to install this in Chrome as a Chrome extension. So if you want to do that, and as you see, it has a learning center, okay? So words, I have 0 because let's see, I think did I have grade? I forget. I used it and then I think I'd used up the amount of, they call them tokens that they had given me, and that's it. But what I really wanted to bring you and show you is the amount of things that it has, the capabilities. It has a bit more. They've made it into this nice application. So I'm not saying ChatGPT isn't. They're the original owners of this. And so obviously they're still working on it. And there are other good capabilities. But this is the reason why they let people play around and create all kinds of applications or apps out there that can really help all of us. So what do I like about them? You literally can go in and write articles and blogs. You can go in and do ads and marketing tools like you see here. Sorry, this corresponds to that. So whatever I'm reading here is here as I scroll down. So you can go and create those on the different platforms as you see here. Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, app SMS, LinkedIn ad descriptions. You literally can create each of them here. And what it does is that it easily formats that according to what platform you're using, which I like very, very much, okay? It has general writing here, BotSonic, train ChatGPT on your data. I talked about that yesterday, that when especially you have an account, you train ChatGPT to to talk how you want it, your brand voice. So if, for example, your business in this case, again, I'm going to talk is HR, and the things you're talking about mostly are HR. Whenever you ask it any instructions or anything, give it instructions, ask questions or anything, you're really teaching it or training it for you in your little world of space of AI in ChatGPT. You're training it to really know what it is you want. A good example would be, for example, let me give you a good example. So I'm going to just start a new one here. A good example here, I'm going to use 3.5, but I think this does it too. Let's see. I'm going to use 3.5, the free one. So if you say, write me an article about changes in HR and AI and how it is incorporated, for example, in 300 to 350 words. Okay, this is how you do that. Okay, so it's writing an article. As you see that everything is so fast. Notice how it did this. It gives you the title of each paragraph, which I like. Okay. Now, because of obviously I don't work a lot with HR, my account will not give me that, but I'm just showing you how eventually it may change over time. So let's say we do this. It has introduction, it has all of that. And then I tell it that, okay, rewrite the article highlighting the headings of the paragraphs, okay? And add, well, maybe we don't want to add paragraphs for easier reading. So watch how it's going to do that. Oh, instead it numbered them. This is why, because I'd done so in a previous article, you know. So it's highlighting. There are two ways to highlight. Like, you have to be very specific. It's highlighted them. It's numbered them. That's how it highlights them. But if I say bold, bold and let's see what it does. So all I said is rewrite the article and bold the headings, which it's doing right now. Okay. So all I'm trying to say is that eventually there are times when you're going to say, write maybe an article for me for this or that. And because we've trained it to do this, when you keep saying, okay, because when you give a prompt, and these are things I'm going to teach eventually, that you give a prompt and then you tell it exactly what it is you want to do. Those are the examples I'm giving. It learns to do that for you without having to be as explicit in your instructions, because that is how you want things. So it learns your voice, it learns your brand, and that kind of thing. Okay. Anyway, so let me go here. That's Jasper. Let me go to here, ChatGPT. Let me see. I'm not sure if I'm able to write. Okay, for example, here, this is my library. That's my library. Let's see my history. Title. That was general writing, March. You see, I haven't used it in a long time, from March. Anyway, Write Sonics here is where you can go. Excuse me. I tend to use the chat Sonic here. Okay. So I brought this to show you how each of them. So Write Sonic here. So it will allow you to search for what is it called? For articles, and or you can also get an article, or you can actually upload. This is another one. It allows you the capability to upload directly And then from there, if you give it an instruction, it could do that for you. Example of instructions. You could ask it to either summarize if it's a big document. So there is a document, let me see here. Second, I'm uploading a document, so. Okay, so the document. And it was HR. The document I want to upload is called HR because I did a search and I uploaded it and I wanted to show how you can use it to, let's see. So HR and AI, I think it was, yeah. It was a Word doc. Let me bring it up here. HR, okay, by McKinsey. All right, so so HR and AI, the future of HR. AI, future of AI. Is that, oops, of HR, excuse me, not AI, of HR. How am I not getting that? Gonna save it again here. Well, we can't get it. Print to something else. Save it here. Okay, so I'm gonna upload here, hopefully. Files, all files. Okay, it's the other thing. No, it wasn't. Okay, so I have uploaded. So I've uploaded a document. Did it come? I did a search originally, invalid format. So it's not allowing my format. Oh, it has to be PDF. Okay, got it. Got it. I'm gonna just save this again in PDF. So let's save as PDF. So this is the reason you also see that there's so many apps that have to do with reading a PDF. This is the reason because many of these prefer PDF versus Word doc. I think a PDF is less, it's less risky. Okay, so we have this here and topic summarize and we do next here. Brand voice and all of that. So additional info. What I just want to do is to show you summarize the main points in the attached document and create a bulleted list for me to easily read. Okay, let's see, generate article. So as you see, it's contacting Sonic, essentially it's analyzing the article, and then we'll see from there what happens. But this is the beauty of it, like I was saying, that we can actually upload a document. Example of these are white papers or some research documents that can be hard to get, and that kind of thing. So content length and all of that. let's see, output. Kindly review the word counts presented below. Please note that a third of the input and output word will be charged. Hence, select only those articles as reference that efficiently utilize word count. Okay, so let's see. Plus 2,000 estimated output. What does that mean? Oh, so meaning that these are the tokens I was talking about that they charge, per word. Obviously, I'm going to cancel out of this because this is a demo. But what I wanted to just show you is that we can upload documents and be able to have the AI analyze this and present it to us in either a readable form. These are the different actually ways, prompts that I'll talk about depending on how you want it to be presented. You can also ask it to create a graph and things like that. But I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to do that, but those are the beauty of that. Okay. So that you, two examples here. As an HR, maybe you have your clients, for example. Jan, you have your clients there. They have certain maybe surveys or things that they've done, and they need help to really analyze what is going on for them. So you can run that through here. Of course, they may have maybe an analytics type of feature within their platform. But if they don't, this is a good way to do that. Additionally, they may have it, but it's something you could run if it's not, by the way, having private information, names and all of that. And it just has, for example, answers to questions, okay, because that gives you an insight. ChatGPT has known to really, really provide very good insights. In fact, I myself have used it. You can, for a survey, you can copy the results in a file within ChatGPT itself or another, AI tool like this one, ChatSonic, or WriteSonic, sorry. ChatSonic, WriteSonic, it's the same one. And have it analyze that for you, create a graph. ChatGPT didn't have ability for a graph. They're enabling that, but as you saw, I haven't yet had it. They say they're going to be enabling that in the coming weeks. They announced it, I think, early last week, probably. Yeah, it was last week. But this one can do that already. So that's why I want to show you capabilities of other tools. What I like about this, it's very versatile. It does more than one thing, okay? So you have Jasper is writing, and writing, that's its thing. So it's not a bad thing, but what I mean is that you have others that do more than one thing that are very good. And these guys are gaining really a lot of notoriety, the ChatSonic, okay? Within that, what they're doing. There are other tools for chat, OpenAI, that they created, but I won't talk about them there because I don't want to cause confusion. But these two, talking about that, I'm using these two because there's some features that ChatGPT Plus may not have yet, and you can get from ChatSonic. However, the ones they may not have, also remember, like I said, they have the plugins. Hopefully I'll go there. Sometimes I wasn't going because of, again, I think being very busy. They have the plugins. So the way you would find what maybe something it does, you see that? I told you there's so many that have to do with reading PDF files. Anyway, the way you do that is you go here and you can search for that. So I did search accounting, for example, earlier, account. So you see here bank rates, account, this is gets H bar token balance of something account. I don't know what that is. But there's not really like an account. They also have to be very careful. So here in the US, because I know Dijon, you are based in the Netherlands, but here in the US, the big accounting firms that have the big apps, the QuickBooks, what are the other ones? QuickBooks, I think I brought up QuickBooks. Intuit actually are the ones that that own many of those. So QuickBooks and some others, they put those features within the application itself. I think I brought up, let's see, I had brought up, I'd done some research and I brought up, let's see. Oh, it's not here. Okay. I had done some research and I brought up some articles that were showing the features. I think maybe that's when the article. So new AI features in to get going in QuickBooks. So Intuit is sorry, owns QuickBooks. What are the other big ones? There's some other big ones here. So what all I'm getting at is that for 2023 Q2, so clearly here someone is already talking about that for CPA also. And they're talking about what some of those are. But in any case, you yourself can go and Google. I ran already, so I'm gonna go and just show you here. What's that tax advisory? I think this is the one we did. AI accounting. Okay. So I did run like, I pretended like I was you, and I did run some examples here where I asked it to write an article of how AI would transform accounting and tax preparation in the Netherlands. Okay. It gave me that. Do you see how it did that? So because I don't really talk about accounting a lot, it just gave it to me in these paragraphs. So I asked it, hey, can you create a bulleted format and highlight those? So obviously it does them differently. So the highlighting, it boldened these, the heading and everything like that, so that it's easier to see. Then I asked it, can you rewrite the article giving me the old way of doing things and the new way where they've incorporated AI? And it did that. So data analysis, the old way, manual data entry, new way, AI automates data entry. Okay. Tax preparation, old way, accountants sort through complex tax codes, new way, AI can quickly analyze complex tax laws. All right. Financial insights, old way, they analyze the financial data manually. New way, AI provides real-time financial insights and forecasts. Okay. Fraud detection, old way, potential fraud or financial risks. New way, AI analyzes patterns and anomalies in the financial data. So challenges and solutions, traditional methods in their own challenges, such as data privacy concerns. New way, the integration of AI also presents challenges like data privacy, very true, and the need for AI-specific regulation and potential job displacement. So there's been this as examples they've given for for CPAs and lawyers and writers. I don't know. Honestly, like, I don't believe that. I'm not saying I don't believe, because anything is possible, but like, for example, knowing that AI isn't 100% accurate, people are still needed for CPA, accounting, and even lawyers. So anyway, that's where I wanted to use the examples of at least the audience here and show you exactly how that could be. Okay. I was also going to do difference between maybe the Netherlands and the US in terms of some new features in some tools, but we don't need that. At least this is a good example. So I wanted to show you that of what that can be. Now, the main thing is that because of data privacy, as we've said, many of these features will be within the platforms that are used. So one of the big ones, I already gave an example here in the US, is QuickBooks. So in the Netherlands, it could be another one, or if they use QuickBooks also, you may find that those features are all within the platform itself versus from the outside. And so you as a as a professional, what you will be doing is actually using ChatGPT for some of the other supportive tasks versus like exactly, analyzing your client data and things like that. You could be looking for trends and things like that generally, what's going on out there and things like that, but not necessarily, you know, your client data. All right. The other thing I should mention is ChatGPT, when they were training it on all these big amounts of data, it stops in 2021. So that's why also you have example of this example ChatSonic here that I gave you, I showed you. That's when this come in handy, because for them, they are connected live to actually the live data up to like, Google, type of Google data and things like that. So the difference is that here you're going to get really live information that's exactly current. And I'm not saying that, ChatGPT is giving wrong information. But if you need things like in 2023 this year, you're not going to get, it will tell you anyway. It will say, oh, because I'm an AI, I'm an AI application, I'm not able to solve, anything that's current. I stop at 2021. So that's why it's good to have backup of some of these like this. However, I forgot one other thing. In my presentation, I think I was talking about here how, let's see, did we have, well, talking about, I think I skipped it, but it's here. So I talked about how Microsoft has partnered with ChatGPT, and they are now like the Google, with their Bing and all of that. And also AWS is the Microsoft Azure. So they provide cloud services to companies, just like Amazon, AWS. So it's not very relevant, but the reason I bring it up is that they partnered with Microsoft. So Microsoft is where you can get the information that's more current also. It will act like ChatGPT, sorry, like this ChatSonic. But I'll tell you, frankly speaking, it's a work in progress. It hasn't really, it hasn't really, what's the word? It hasn't really got into the level of this app that I'm just telling you about, this one, the Write/Sonic. In fact, I did a search here because I wanted to know what are the top ChatGPT plugins, the ones I was telling you about. It told me it can't go it doesn't know because it stops at 2021, which is exactly the what I was talking about. So anyway, so it ended up that I had to use Bird. Bird is the one for I'm sorry, Bird actually is for Google. So Google is able actually to tell us which are the top apps. So what did I ask? Top 10 ChatGPT apps or plugins that project managers can use for their daily work. So I gave it that, and I'm not sure how this is. This is also not correct. I'll tell you that. This is for writing. Write/Sonic. Clearly, it's not. Tweet GPT. That's new. And all these other ones. So they don't have, because Google is just really teaching also it's it's data, so they don't have all that information. So we have to be careful also of some of this because they are not correct. Okay. So here, none of them, they said because they have GPT, I think they're mentioned, but these are not project management tools, apps, for sure. Anyway, so that is the other, this is, sorry, Bird, but Bing is here. Bing, I have two screens usually. One is for Bing, which is this one. So this is where Bing, you can get what it is that you want. Oh, and now they keep the history, so that's good. Oh, this is actually different. Oh yeah, I did ask it. This for me, at least 10 plugins added to ChatGPT for that users can choose to add. So it gave them to me here, Open Table, Wolfram. These are correct. So they're correct because now Bing is the one that helps them to really to get the more current work. That's why they partnered with Bing, Microsoft. Expedia, these are there for sure. I haven't seen Slack, but it's because there are so many. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I've seen many of these, that to do this one, that one, that one. So these are correct. Okay. So all in all, you will see that I'm going to just stop sharing here. So all in all, you see that really all these things bring a lot of efficiency to our work. They also will help with decision making for project managers, for sure. You're going to find that there are many also why, by the way, you don't see that there's a plugin necessarily is because many of the project management tools on the market are adding AI features within the tools versus creating a plugin. Okay, so the plugin is different because it's going to be from a different perspective, like the example I gave you. Okay, so that's why you see that. Oh, I do forget. I'm sorry that I had I had disabled the camera. Okay, so that's where we are. So all in all, you find that the other things is automation, for sure, that it helps us with streamlining our workflow through automation. I talked about that, for example, a lot in accounting, because there are data entry and things like that. So that will be automated for sure. Risk management is also another one that it helps us with, and resource management, HR, resource management, any other resource maybe within a business. It helps us with that. And then for sure, ways of really helping us with work, like if we don't know how to do something, it can give us step-by-step plans of doing that. I know, for example, on my website, I was updating it with the podcast that I've been on. Oops, sorry. This is the back end. Sorry. Let me just, actually, I wasn't even sharing. Let me just share the screen again. So all I'm bringing up is my website, project. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll just, I was working with someone who was designing my website, and they didn't know how to add. Let me show you here. This is my website. They didn't know how to add podcasts so that you're not using a link that's uploading everything. I was a guest at some podcasts, and I just wanted to add podcasts that have to do with where I've been. But initially someone put the link and it uploaded the whole podcast for someone else, which is not what I want. It's not my podcast. All I want is just to have the ones where I've been a guest at. Okay. So I mentioned that because I use, ChatGPT to give me some of the steps of what can we do. And it gave me those steps. So I got to an answer, eventually found a plugin. That's what I did. And we were able, I found another designer who helped me to finish this up. But all I'm trying to say is that, we can get all the answers we want with ChatGPT. Okay. So anyway, thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for all of you who RSVP'd. I've tried to really give examples, really using, your industry. But if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. So another thing I wanted to talk about is I do have an upcoming workshop. It's going to be workshop type because I would like people to get their hands on and do some of the work and, see for themselves that they can actually use the different prompts, the different ChatGPT. And then from there, of course, it's going to be put very nicely. that workshop will be put in a course format. When I say course, it's not like you're learning, it's more like guiding you through what it is. But I have to put it in that format because there'll be a video, there'll be templates, and certainly there'll be the example prompts that people can use. So that's why I say course, because it's a package put together. And it will be $99. I'm opening up the card tomorrow. So I would love for you, to be able to have that information, and also for your support. That would be great. But anyway, I would love for you, if that would be really something helpful, as I've given you just a little bit of what it is that you can have. So what it will have within that, I'm going to create, I'll be having different types of tools that I'll be giving you the list for different categories as in industry that people can use, and some of the different also in industry, some of the different industry prompts that you all can use. So join me tomorrow. Tomorrow is the conclusion. I'll just put it together to show you what else the full transformation can be for your business, for you and your business. But mostly, it's really to encourage you to use AI and to really optimize your work, your life, and eventually really live a more balanced life for any of those, especially here in the US, where we tend to, do a lot of work or optimize work over life. That this helps us to be more productive because we don't have to do many things manually anymore. Or even, sometimes how you just even need to write a simple email and you have to think again because someone is tired. I know for me, that was my case. Especially when you're running up and down with, many different projects you're working on and things like that. So that's really my encouragement. So thank you so much. And I hope to see you or talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.